What's up YouTube, Tyler Kirkwood here. Thanks for viewing. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I want to do a video today about my progress with saving my life force. I'm not going to use the words no FAP or no PMO anymore because I feel like there's some people that have like trademarked the name, and I don't really want to be in any kind of trouble over using that name, so I'm just going to refer to it as life force. So I'm on 21 days, 3 weeks saving my life force, and it's been a really good thing so far, man. I've got a lot better, I feel, emotionally and physically. I eat a lot less food. Um, a lot of the urges that I've been having have been going away, so I'm very fortunate of that. So I'm motivated to continue. I don't have a lot of new changes going on. I just wanted to make a video update to keep things going, so I make one every day. It's kind of hard to make a video every day because really there's not like a lot of new stuff going on. It's Martin Luther King Day, and what I've been thinking lately about Martin Luther King Day is like he was really against inequality of African Americans, and I know personally since being in the prison system, like 90% of the prison population is African American, so I still see like a lot of really fundamental differences between Caucasians and African Americans, like how they're treated and stuff like that. It's really, really obvious and evident in the prison system. Supposedly, supposedly they commit more crimes, but I think a lot of that is due to economic adversity. I mean, they're a lot more prone to live in poverty, and they're a lot more prone to have lower paying jobs and a lot more difficulties in life in general. So I think Martin Luther King's dream of equality. I mean, it's kind of materialized, but really it hasn't materialized. I think to what he hoped. And just the fact that he got assassinated really makes me wonder, like his assassination, John F. Kennedy's assassination. I'm trying to think of that musician's name. Anyway, I can't think of it right now at the moment, but one of the Beatles that got assassinated. It just makes me think, like, man, it's crazy how these people really stand up for what they believe in, and they just get assassinated. And this leads me to my next point. I've been watching videos by Joey Carbstrong, which I'd highly recommend. And it's interesting how he always has debates with other people, like especially like some kind of farmers or whatever, or various different people, and they always immediately get to like a violent confrontational standpoint and basically threaten the well-being of the protest or the activist. Something crazy about the yellow vests is like it seems like the majority of their protests are rather peaceful, but despite their protests being rather peaceful, the police are using rubber bullets. It's just crazy, man. I saw a guy that got shot in the head and he was bleeding all over his face. I just don't see how they can justify using that kind of force on what looks like a relatively peaceful protest. I mean, they're burning stuff and stuff like that's happening, but I mean, I just worry that it's going to escalate into actual shooting of civilians, kind of like what's going on in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe basically has been shut down. From what I understand, the internet's been shut down. Like all social media has been shut down. The grocery stores are shut down. The gasoline is hard to acquire. They raised the price to something like $12 a gallon, and this is just something that adds worry to me because I see a lot of similarities between this and Yemen, and also Venezuela. So I'm just hoping these aren't like catastrophes that'll eventually spread to the United States. I noticed that food stamps were given out earlier, and the amount that they gave wasn't the normal amount. It was about less than half the amount. So that's kind of stressful, I'm sure, to a lot of people out there. I don't even know if they noticed the change in the amount. Um, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward the next month or two. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I'm still doing good, keeping up my life force, and I'm becoming more positive. Trying to work out more, but it's been ridiculously cold here in Champaign, Illinois, like 10 degrees or something like that. Just really, really difficult to get out of the house. Even in the house, it's pretty cold. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video and let you guys know what I thought was interesting going on in the world today. Zimbabwe is incredibly interesting, so check that out if you can. If you have time to look into Zimbabwe and what's going on over there, it's gotten pretty ridiculous. I think even the leader of Zimbabwe, excuse me, he went to Russia, so it's kind of surprising that their own leader left the country because things were getting so bad. Supposedly, he wants to figure out a way to improve the military force. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on. Looking forward to the stock market being open tomorrow. It's closed today for Martin Luther King. I guess about Martin Luther King, I would like to, like, if I had a dream, I would like there to be, like, as little violence in the world as humanly possible, and I think that would definitely include animals, because I feel pretty guilty about what goes on regarding animals, and especially if I'm involved in paying for the food that comes from that treatment, I feel responsible. So I think if I had a dream, it would be like the whole world would just magically become vegan, and then people wouldn't have like hostilities or animosity towards each other, and then people wouldn't be at war constantly. People wouldn't feel obligated to or whatever to kill each other and stuff like that wouldn't happen. So I think I would have a dream too. It'd just be a more peaceful planet where humans humans were treated with more respect and animals were treated with more respect, almost like an equal amount of respect. Just a respect for life in general, man. I think we overlook the value of life and like especially of an animal. And this is really hits close to home for me because I had a dog for a good like 12 years of my life, and that dog was like my best friend. Like I love that dog probably more than anybody. And the striking thing about having that dog, her name was Kobe. The striking thing about having Kobe was how intelligent she was. And a lot of times I wonder like how intelligent the cows are and how intelligent the chickens are and stuff like that, the pigs and stuff like that. And it really makes me wonder. The thing that's frustrating is it's so hard to cut that out of your diet. Like you still have cravings for it. You still have cravings for cheese, and you're constantly bombarded by advertisements, especially on even on YouTube. Really, it's crazy. I'll be watching a video about veganism, and then there'll be like a TGI Fridays or McDonald's commercial that pops up right before the video, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, it's everywhere. You can't escape it. You can't escape the constant advertising of these products, and that's something that's really frustrating. But yeah, if I had a dream, I would just like to exist in a planet where we didn't need to kill animals to eat them, where we could basically live in harmony with the animals, kind of like how people do with dogs. At least in the United States, I know in some other countries around the world they actually eat dogs for meat, which is pretty sad. I think even in Venezuela during their economic adversity, they've been eating zoo animals. So it just kind of shows how crazy it is to what extent a human being will go to eat meat. I mean, they'll basically consider pretty much any living thing, and that's just frustrating because I feel like there's a lot of solidity to the Christian beliefs of thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal. And if a human being was to actually follow that logic, like thou shalt not kill, basically they wouldn't ever pay for dead animals. And if they followed that logic of thou shalt not steal, they would never consume cheese, which is basically stolen from a cow. So I know I'm getting pretty preachy here today, but I just wanted to share my thoughts, especially regarding Martin Luther King, and I see the evolution of his equality movement basically someday being carried over to animals. So I'd highly recommend checking out Joey Carbstrong's channel. He's got a lot of really interesting videos on there, and he's a very upbeat and positive person. Um, so yeah, thanks for viewing. Please subscribe. Please like. I appreciate it. Talk to you later.